Welcome to the Deep Dive, or your shortcut to, well, getting informed.
Yeah, cutting through the noise.
Exactly. And today, we're really diving into an international bestseller, Siri Helle's The Emotion Trap. It's subtitled, Why Negative Feelings Hold You Back and How Small Changes Can Set You Free.
It's a really interesting one.
It really is. Helle's core idea kind of challenges how we usually deal with our feelings, doesn't it?
Totally. The idea that we often react on impulse.
Right, based on how we feel right now, and it ends up, subtly messing up our bigger goals.
That sabotage loop.
Yeah. So our mission today, unpack Helle's insights, figure out how to break free from these patterns, take back a bit of control.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Okay, so we've all been there, right? Stuck, feeling bad, acting maybe not great, and then feeling worse.
The downward spiral.
Exactly. Helle calls this the emotion trap. She really digs into how this trap, it's built on our instincts almost, but it trips us up. What exactly is it, though?
Well, she uses this idea of the psychological triangle.
Oh, yeah, I remember that bit. From cognitive behavioral therapy, right?
Exactly. It shows how our thoughts, feelings, and our behaviors are all linked, constantly influencing each other.
And doing nothing is still a behavior. She stresses that.
Absolutely. Doing nothing is an action or inaction with consequences. But what's really fascinating is her point about feelings sometimes being, well, miscalibrated.
Miscalibrated, like wrong.
Sort of, like faulty wiring. We're told to trust our gut, right? But Helle shows how that trust can, lead us straight into these negative spirals.
So our feelings aren't always the best guide.
Not always. Think about procrastination. You feel maybe overwhelmed by a task.
Definitely felt that.
So you reach for your phone, scroll a bit.
Yeah.
That temporary relief. Feels good for a second.
Yeah, the dopamine hit.
Right. But the trap is you're just avoiding the actual problem, which makes it worse later, strengthens that avoidance.
Okay, got it. Or anxiety.
Same principle. You avoid scary situations, which feels safer in the moment, but it actually strengthens the fear long term. Those safety behaviors, like constant checking, they feed the anxiety.
So these are like bugs in our programming from evolution.
That's how Helle puts it, yeah, evolutionary bugs. Our wiring hasn't quite caught up with modern life sometimes.
Okay, so if we understand the trap, how do we get out? That's the key bit.
Right, and Helle's answer is really powerful. It's what she calls the behavior principle.
The behavior principle.
Okay, yeah.
Sounds empowering, like taking charge, but does it mean just like faking it, ignoring how you feel?
That's a really common question. And no, it's not about suppression, not at all.
Okay.
If you connect it to the bigger picture, it's about proactively changing your behavior first to align with the emotions you want to feel, instead of just waiting for the feelings to change on their own.
So act first, feelings follow.
Essentially, yes. By acting differently, you're kind of teaching your brain. It starts to recalibrate. New associations form. It's not ignoring emotions, it's regaining control by changing the input, the behavior.
That really flips the script on motivation, doesn't it? We usually wait to feel motivated.
Exactly. She argues motivation often follows action, not the other way around.
So how can you, listening right now, start using this? Helle gives some really practical stuff. Let's start with the self-esteem myth.
Yeah, this is great. She challenges that idea that we need constant high self-esteem, like always feeling amazing about ourselves.
Which feels unrealistic anyway.
Totally. Instead, she talks about building resilient self-esteem, something more stable, more real.
How?
She uses this lovely analogy, baking your own self-esteem cake.
Okay, I like cake.
Yeah. It means figuring out the important slices of your life, family, work, hobbies, community, whatever matters to you, and actively investing time and energy there.
So building value in different areas.
Exactly. And also doing things that genuinely make you feel proud, even small things. Plus, practicing assertive behaviors.
Like what?
Simple things, like just saying thank you when someone gives you a compliment instead of brushing it off. Or, setting boundaries, especially if you tend to be a doormat.
The people pleaser.
Right. Or even a balloon, someone who seems overly boastful, maybe masking insecurity. It's about finding that balanced, assertive middle ground.
Okay, that makes sense. Building it piece by piece. But what about those times when, motivation is just zero? Feeling really low.
Yes. For that, Helle has another one of those counterintuitive gems. You don't have to feel like
You
it.
don't have to feel like it. Okay, tell me more.
This comes from her section on Schedule in Joy. It's about doing rewarding, meaningful things even when you absolutely do not feel like it.
Even when you feel rubbish.
Especially then, perhaps. You do it, trusting that the positive feelings might actually follow the action. It's not forcing happiness, it's giving it a chance to show up by changing your behavior.
In doing it wholeheartedly, she says.
Yes, being present, not just going through the motions while your mind is churning, ruminating, actively interrupting that brooding with the activity.
So it challenges that core belief. I have to feel good before I can do good things.
Precisely. It's about creating momentum. You start the engine, you don't wait for it to magically turn on.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the real power here with Helle's behavior principle, it seems to be about taking the reins through action, not just being pushed around by shifting emotions.
That's it, exactly. Acknowledging the feelings, even the miscalibrated ones, but then choosing your actions based on your values, on the person you want to be.
The emotion trap basically gives you tools to break those self-sabotaging cycles.
Yeah, and build real emotional resilience. And importantly, seeing setbacks not as failures, but as, learning opportunities, part of the process.
Right. It's not about perfection. So here's something to think about. What's one small behavior, just one thing, you could maybe change today, even if you really don't feel like it? Something that might nudge you just a tiny bit closer to the feelings you actually want to experience.